You're listening to Captain John Doe, real aviation stories told anonymously. Let's get into it. What's up, everybody? We're back.
Hey, what's up, Doe Heads? It's your favorite host, Kevin, assisted by my beautiful wife.
By your less favorite host, apparently, Mindy.
Schminschmong.
Well, welcome back, Doe Heads. Yeah, we're sticking with it. I love the Doe Head name. Thanks to who sent that in. I'm going to keep him anonymous.
All right, you didn't even tell me who that was.
It's anonymous.
Okay, this is an anonymous podcast.
It's client privilege.
Attorney-client privilege?
Yes.
I can't say
but it's
that fast.
Podcast listener privilege.
Wow. Well, guess what? We're back to normal workflow.
And we've got a great episode lined up for you guys. So strap in, and we're kind of getting back to weekly poop stories. I'm just going to forewarn you.
Yeah, it seems like the more and more...
Wait. Was your story a poop story or mine?
I think yours might be a poop story.
It's not. It has to do with a lab, but I skimmed it. Okay, so no number 2. It's just a measly little number 1.
Okay. Well, it has to do with the laboratory, and apparently all of you guys who listen to this podcast all have lab stories. So keep it coming, because I never get old of it, and it never gets old.
No, it doesn't.
Last week's story was top notch. Let's be fair.
We're all kids at heart, right? Especially pilots, because we're all just children looking out the window all day. We're not adults.
No, I literally look out the window all day. Like
a little kid. And we get happy when we see the spinny thing start spinning. And we're like, yee, look, airplane. Speaking of fun airplanes.
I was just about to say that.
But I did.
It was my segue to you.
I stole it.
Speaking of a fun airplane, didn't you do something kind of cool this week?
I had the privilege of flying a brand new Cirrus Vision Jet G3 with Cirrus Aircraft. The goal of the flight was to film a YouTube video about all the upgrades that the G3 got. So I got to sit in the left seat of the Vision Jet. That was my third time flying a Vision Jet, right?
At least, yeah.
I've had another 3 opportunities to fly a Vision Jet. This would have been my 7th time. Sorry. But you guys want to know how great of a wife I am? I'm just going to pat myself on the back here.
Oh, we're going to bring up
3 of the times that I have been offered the left seat of a Vision Jet, I have given up the opportunity and let your favorite podcast host, Mr. Kevin, fly the Vision Jet instead of myself.
You know, when she says it out loud,
if that's not love,
it does sound like love.
True love is letting your partner fly the private jet.
Yeah. I will say that the last time we went from Vegas to Santa Monica. That was dope.
Yeah, that's a leg that you flew.
And I flew it home.
Yep. I gave you
want to fly it home.
No, I did. But you were grinding, getting flight hours, and I know how important every hour is, so I gave you both legs.
Hold on.
What?
I didn't log that.
We could have been at 1,500 quicker.
I didn't log it.
Kevin. So I gave up these private jet flights I could have flown, and you didn't even log it?
I didn't log it. I thought it would be weird to have jet time in my log.
No, not when you're flying a jet with a freaking instructor.
Well, I guess I need to add another 10 hours of Vision Jet.
Not 10, 2, 4, probably 7.
7. Yeah, probably 7.
Jesus Christ, Kevin.
Well, I need that instructor to sign my book. No, that's probably...
He will.
I know he will. He always...
Both of them will.
I know.
We're going to get back to the G3 in a second, but I just want to go back to this whole love and marriage thing. I'm going to continue this. I posted on Instagram the other day that I have a brand new office. It's at Henderson Airport. I'm very proud of it. I have not worked in an office, by the way, in 10 years.
This is just trash on Kev.
Well, Mr. Favorite Podcast host, we're trying to get the people in favor of Schmindy and not you. It's a competition, and I'm about to win
Listen, they come for you, but they stay for me. Let's just be clear.
Shut up. So on Instagram, I posted that my view out of my new office, which is so weird for me to go to an office. I've worked from home for the last decade.
Real quick, it makes me really happy that you're going to an office. And I mean that in like a genuine way, because you've always been stuck in the house.
Yeah.
And like, I love the fact that you are getting up and going to work because you're getting home earlier.
That's true, because I do feel compelled to leave around.
You left your laptop for the first time in your entire life the other day at the office. I was shooketh.
On purpose.
Shooketh.
Anyway, we're learning boundaries now. So my window at my new office at the airport overlooks the ramp at the flight school Kevin works at. Freaking amazing. You guys want to know what Kevin does as a flight instructor?
Here we go.
His full-time job is yapping, talking, sitting on the golf cart, chatting with his buddies. And his part-time job, I've learned, is flying airplanes.
I am in the airplane way more than I'm yapping.
Not from what I've seen this week. I see you blah, 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 just kind of waltzing around, sitting on the golf cart, chatting with your buddy.
Well, I don't want to sit inside where upper management is because I want to be out in the sun.
Upper management is watching you through these windows, let me tell you.
They know.
So, anywho, I posted a photo on Instagram of Kevin doing his full-time job, which is sitting around talking. I'm obviously joking. You fly so much.
Yeah, how many times do you see me get in an airplane?
Actually, I didn't see you get a plane one time.
Seriously? If I'm out there, I'm probably getting in an airplane soon.
Didn't witness it myself. So I posted a photo of Kevin on the golf cart and with like a cheeky little comment of like, you know, now I get to spy on Kevin all day. And the amount of responses to that first slide was, oh, poor guy, poor Kevin, blah, blah, blah. And the very next slide was 5 minutes later after that photo. Kevin is sitting in my office bothering me while I'm trying to work.
You enjoyed it.
Continuing to yap, if I may add. So I posted to all of you that said that poor guy, you guys have no idea how much he loves attention and loves when I spy on him. I'm going to speak for you, but I think you love my attention.
I do.
So anywho, then there was a lot of people saying, yeah, you know, Kevin's actually pretty lucky. I'm like, there we go. There's the honesty. And we're just going to hit a home run here by
hard work.
Me saying that I handed over private jet flights that I could have flown myself. And I am so selfless and gave it to my wonderful husband.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Well, tell him about your flight.
Yes. Well, no, I finally took one for myself. But guess what, guys? Guess
what happened?
Guess what?
This was not planned. Don't throw me under the bus.
Guess what?
What?
I am pre-flighting, getting in the Vision Jet with Scott from Cirrus, and we're waiting on one more thing, and we're about to get in the plane. And who comes around the corner?
Who?
Mr. Kevin. Not flying airplanes. Nope.
I just landed.
But not flying planes. Here he comes around the corner. He just comes over to yap to me and Scott as we're getting in the plane, all standing there all awkwardly, clearly waiting for an invite.
No, was not expecting an invite.
And the wife I am, I invited this mother trucker. And here he is. He got to sit in the back on my demo flight in the brand new G3.
Let me just, before you dive in deeper, let me give you a quick little experience from my end. Number one, if you've never been in a Vision Jet, don't talk about it bad, because you don't understand what I experienced back there. I am a big guy. We all know that. I could have laid down every which way and not touched anything. I was shocked at how much room was back there.
Yeah,
I mean, seats are as wide as me.
How would you know how big the cabin is if you're always getting offered the left seat?
I've never sat in the back.
My freaking point.
Like, oh my gosh. unbelievable amount of space, like, because it's not a very big jet. Oh my gosh. It's huge. It's literally huge.
It's huge. It is huge. Especially the middle row. So of course in the Vision Jet, if you're not familiar, there's 2 pilot seats. Then there's 2 middle seats that are captain's chairs, you could call them, from the car world, right? And then in the back, there's usually a rear bench that is for children or extremely small adults. Now with the G3, they turn that into 2 adult seats, and then there's still a middle seat that a child could sit in. There's so much more room in the back now, and they've redesigned the interior. There's no more center console. If you were used to the Vision Jet in the middle seat, there used to be, or in the middle row, there used to be a center console there, and you'd have to take it out if you wanted to use that back row. Now it's completely open. And where do you put your things now? There's little trays, like on an airliner. They tuck away on the side and they pull out these beautiful trays. And there's charge ports and all the amenities that you could ever want.
Yeah, I mean, an adult can sit in the 3rd row now, and they can actually do that. They moved the captain's seats up a couple inches.
Did they?
They did.
Okay.
Which it still doesn't need that much space. It's crazy.
So let's debrief the flight real quick. So we flew out of Henderson Airport. I got to fly. I am not the most experienced Cirrus pilot, so I'm still getting used to the nose castering wheel, which if you're not familiar with that means you do opposite of what you were taught in a Skyhawk, for example. In a Skyhawk, if you're taxiing and touching the brakes, you are doing it wrong. No touchy brake. But in Cirrus world, yes, touchy brake.
If needed.
As needed.
I would say probably your 4th or 5th flight in the Cirrus, you'll start getting the hang of that thing.
And get smoother on it.
Yeah, because the reality is you need to go a little bit faster than you would in a Skyhawk. That way the rudder can turn you. So you really shouldn't be on the brakes, but if you're ever turning, you're going to have to use a little differential brake.
Yeah, so that's new for me, but I feel like I'm kind of the hang of it.
I mean,
how'd it feel in the back?
I couldn't tell any jerky motion, and you're on center line. I wasn't feeling the brakes, but you can usually feel that herky jerky. It wasn't happening at all.
No jerky here. So we blasted off out of Henderson. We took off on an IFR flight plan. That way we could launch the whole way up to flight level 310.
All the way up.
31,000 feet. That's max altitude on the G3 Vision Jet. So we got up there. Cabin pressure, it's a pressurized aircraft, was 8,000 feet at 31,000 feet, which is pretty dang good.
Felt great.
So it means your body feels like it's at 8,000 feet rather than at 31,000 feet because the cabin pressure is at 8,000 feet. So pretty good. Fuel flow was 68 gallons per hour. It's a singular jet engine up there. And we were going 322 knots true airspeed at 31,000. So a little bit of extra speed on top of the G2. Some of that came from a redesign of the air conditioner on the front exterior nose. There used to be an air conditioner thing, scoop, you could say, lack of better terms, that would come out in flight and create some drag. Now they have redesigned that. That doesn't happen anymore. So we flew over to the Lake Powell region to Page, Arizona. And we were descending in there and God, it was freaking bumpy. I've always been told that Page is quite turbulent in the summer. Yup. We were all over the place. So we went in, we did an approach just to see how a coupled approach would look like to a mist, which I love doing mist approaches in aircraft because that's the most workload you're ever going to have in a plane besides an emergency. So to see how that handles in different planes is really insightful to me. So in the Vision Jet, you have auto throttles. Mm-hmm. So all I had to do was click the go around button on the auto throttle and clean up the plane. And the plane automatically puts the throttle to max, and we're climbing out of there. And then all I have to do is retract the flaps and gear. And then it's flying the published missed approach if you have one in there, or put your own settings in. So that was pretty cool. Then we flew VFR back to Henderson, and Henderson's actually a tough airport. If you haven't been there, there's a lot of terrain. They keep you a little bit high, and then once they clear you for the approach, you kind of dip down, scraping some mountain rocks on the way in. But we did it, and the Vision Jet does it pretty great. And you come in slow. 95 knots. That's like nearly SR speeds, right?
Yeah, I mean, you were at 85, I think, over the runway, which is pretty much SR speeds.
Yeah, okay, sorry. 95 is like your approach speed. That's VREF plus 10. And then 85 over the gate.
Yeah, and then you buttered it. Shocker. I mean, the trailing link gear on that plane is unbelievable. But there's a lot of other things that you did in that flight that I think will be shared on the YouTube video. So
watch out for that.
Watch for that, because I hope the video does the one maneuver justice. I don't even want to explain it here because
let's just say I was 20 degrees nose down, pointed towards the ground, and with a dirty configuration, meaning that there's flaps and gear out, we were going like 130 knots.
I don't even know if we got that fast.
It was about 130 was kind of like the highest speed.
I made a joke that in my flight in the morning, we were practicing the emergency descent in the Skyhawk, and my student got it to 130 knots, which is yellow line.
And a 172.
Skyhawk. And we were all the way at the ground in the Vision Jet and doing the same speed.
That's the coolest maneuver I've ever done in a jet.
I felt like that was like falling over.
Yeah, you had to have your seatbelt on for this, because the seatbelt was literally holding us into the seats because we were pushed so far over towards the ground, and it's not over speeding. That's how slow you can get the Vision Jet and come in for landing. Really freaking cool. Anyways, there will be a YouTube video, so watch out for that on my Mindy channel. You can just type my name on YouTube and it should come up, but it'll be out soon. I'll tell you guys when that's out. But enough about me. Let's talk about you guys. We want to hear your stories. Submit them to CaptainJohnDoe.com. Hopefully they're a bit more scandalous than mine are. We want to hear the horrendous. We want to hear the hilarious. Send in anything.
Stories.
Poop stories. Send in anything you got. Remember, it's fully anonymous. We don't even know your name. Head to our website to submit your story. You can also submit advice. Kevin and I have been blessed with a lot of experiences, and if we can give you advice, we will. And if we don't have advice, we're just going to give you some bad advice. So just submit it and we'll say something. Subscribe, follow us on social media. We post a lot of clips and stuff on there, and then you can see the comments on there, what other people are thinking about these stories that we talk about on the podcast, which can get pretty interesting on social media. Leave a review and a rating. That's so very helpful. And speaking of reviews, Kevin, hit him with it.
JHW999, 5 stars only. The Captain John Doe podcast should be on every aviator's playlist and anyone that likes hearing about the T. The stories read by Mindy and Kevin are hilarious and always hit home with me. I've been a big fan of Mindy's for a few years. She has some of the best aviation content on social media. It's been great getting to know Kevin a bit through this new podcast. He and Mindy clearly have a great relationship that comes through on each and every episode. This show belongs in everyone's playlist.
Well, now you know why we have a great relationship. And it's because I let Kevin fly private jets.
Well, thank you for that review. As always, we are doing a monthly merch giveaway. Guess what today is?
Merch giveaway day. Merch day. I love merch day. We are doing this just because, we can't have a podcast without you guys, and I want to include you guys and give you guys all the love that you deserve. So we are giving away merch every month of 2026. We're going to do the drawing in just a second, but in case you didn't know how you enter, We're going to be selecting one winner every fourth Wednesday, which is today. You can enter for free. Actually, you can only enter for free. There's no paid way to get in here. You can pay me, but you don't have to.
Support our Vision Jet Fund.
Yeah, on Instagram, Captain John Doe podcast, there's a giveaway post. We post it every couple weeks. You just comment on their merch. Boom, you're in, just like that. You can also get another entry, additional, by leaving us a podcast review, just like Kevin read. Just send us a DM that you did it. That way we know, and we'll add you to the list. Head to our website, CaptainJohnDoe.com, for all the rules. And without further ado, let's select the winner.
Drum roll.
This is a long list on here now.
Oh, I remember the first one.
I know.
It's like 8.
There's like so many people on here now. So good luck. The wheel is spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning. It's spinning. It's slowing. Ding. J Stuttle 24.
Congrats, Stuttle 24.
Congrats.
Well, we will reach out to you on probably Instagram. Is that how you do it?
Yeah. If I have someone's email, if they emailed me, then I email. But I believe we have you on Instagram. So I'll message you. We're going to send you a custom Captain John Doe merch box. We don't even sell our merch. I bought merch just to give away. For this very reason, we love you guys. So look in your DMs, J Stuttle 24.
Yeah, Jay.
Yeah, J Stuttle.
Oh gosh. Well, keep those reviews coming. Keep the submissions coming. This is how we keep this podcast rocking and rolling. I'm gonna start it off with a story from south of the equator, where hurricanes are called cyclones.
Oh.
Specifically, a place that you really, really like.
Is it New Zealand?
I believe this listener is in New Zealand.
Hell yeah. New Zealand people, shout out. I love you guys. Kiwis are my true blood.
She means it, by the way.
Yeah, if you guys didn't know.
All right.
Wait.
Oh, waiting.
I just wanted to tell them that I went to Embry-Riddle for college, which is an aviation school. It is extremely hard to do like a foreign exchange student or study abroad when you're in an aviation program, because there's not a lot of aviation schools that are compatible to do that. But I figured it out and I did it, and I went to school in New Zealand at Massey University. So if we have any Massey University listeners, DM us or email us and you're going to get an extra entry on the merch giveaway, just because I love you guys that much. And I loved going to school there.
You heard it here first. Massey Uni.
Yeah.
You didn't wear shoes there, did you?
No.
And you ate a lot of pasta for breakfast, right?
Yeah, back before I was gluten-free.
All right, let's get into it. Hey, a team. Got a story from the land of the hobbits as a fresh-faced 21-year-old new private pilot. I just sorted my Cessna 172, but with modifications from Reams. I don't know what that is.
Me neither. Keep going.
It just sorted his rating down under and had to decide to take the club's 172 away for a few days on a trip. Being still very fresh to being pilot in command without an instructor, and this trip being my first 500 nautical mile trip, I had to make sure to check off all the necessary documents over the coming weeks to ensure I was prepared as I could be, or so I thought. At the time, I was traveling with my partner, who hated flying, and a very tall friend whose only aviation experience was flying on Airbus 320s and Dash 8s. My friend had eaten his vegetables as a kid and stood at 6'8" and was a solid build. This left us at maximum takeoff weight of the aircraft, which at the time I was unaware was actually registered as a R172. Whilst having a comparatively larger engine to most of the other Cessna 172s in the country, this aircraft climbed like a homesick angel and would cruise very nicely. We had a relatively calm flight up north after leaving my local airfield. It wasn't until we got towards the top of the south about midday that issues started to arise. We ended up talking to the approach controller at Wellington as we headed to our first destination, who, as Murphy's Law would have it, warned us that other VFR aircraft had trouble navigating the mountain range that we were trying to get over to our first and second destination. After discussing with another local aircraft who had the same destination, and with a bit of back and forth with the local tower at our first stop, we came up with a plan and we'd both see if either of us could find a way through.
Teamwork
makes the dream work. I went down into a valley which connected the two larger valleys with the aerodrome, and this was in VMC and just to the south of our first stop. It was at this point that my non-flying partner decided that her previously eaten lunch was possibly going to be revisiting us with mountains all around us. Great! Just what I needed. At this point, I was acutely aware that the valley we were operating in does not get good VFR coverage for aircraft announcing their plans to enter or exit the valley. This turned out to be my next issue. As my mate was trying to best to play flight attendant, I saw a bright yellow object just above our level as us likely dealing with some significant turbulence and was being thrown around a bit. Unbeknownst to me, this aircraft was transiting the same valley, and we'd not heard his radio calls until we were within a couple miles of us at a closure of significant rate of knots. It was at this point I had my oh shit moment of the flight. In hindsight, about another 50 hours pilot in command, I realized I should have turned back and headed to our departure airport to deal with our sick passenger. We were pretty much at equal time point at this stage. This was an already demanding scenario that I was facing, and any further change in weather, passengers, traffic situation would have likely meant that I would have lost full situational awareness. We were able to steer clear of him and was met with beautiful clear weather day on the other side in a local aero club's cat who's relatively famous in the local area.
Yeah, that's a lot for a brand new private pilot.
Yeah, I mean, I think you already answered your questions here. You just got your license. You were taking sounds like your girlfriend and your buddy in the mountains where you knew that the weather was icky. So I get
plus turbulence, plus radio coverage diminished. That's a lot. And what you said, that you realize another 50 hours of learning or of flying, you realize that you would have made much different decisions.
Oh, there's a little note here too that didn't get copied. So
hold on, I want to see if there's anything.
I guess in New Zealand, there's a mandatory terrain and weather awareness training as part of the private pilot lessons. This includes terrain awareness and mountain flying, which, looking at my story and others that have ended in disaster, is well needed. I do feel that without that training and with all with the situation I was in, it could have ended differently. Yeah, that makes sense. To go back on this story, Mindy and I have had the privilege of flying in New Zealand, and I guess it makes a lot of sense that the New Zealand Authority makes you have specific training to fly in that terrain.
Well, it's such a small country and with such diverse landscapes, a lot of mountain ranges, a lot of difficult ranges that don't report weather, that you don't know the weather till you get up on it, just like any other mountainous area anywhere in the world. But it makes sense that New Zealand would demand all their pilots to know, because if you're going to fly in New Zealand, you will be flying through mountains, because there's no way to fly in the country without it. The country's so small.
Yeah, because that's my first thought, and probably a lot of listeners' first thought is like, why are you flying in the mountains?
Yeah.
Well, you have to. Just like, I mean, Henderson is not New Zealand, but there's mountains only here. Like, you have to learn how to fly in the mountains if you're operating here.
Well, like they say, once you get your license, it's a license to learn. And as you've already reflected, now you would have made different choices. But what's really undervalued in becoming a pilot, and what they don't teach you in school, is once you're out on your own, how to navigate your cabin, the people that are with you, right? It's not just navigating an aircraft and navigating weather and navigating a flight plan. You also have to know how to deal with people on board. And we've had this conversation a lot lately with friends who have gotten their private pilot license and immediately took other friends who have never been in a small aircraft with their small children. And my advice was, don't do it. Because until you have more experience, it's really hard to bring people, even people who've never been in a small plane. It's such a joy and so rewarding to take new people up on small aircraft. And you're so eager to do that once you get your license. And I don't want to discourage people from doing that because I want people to share the love of aviation. But do be picky with who you fly with in the beginning, because even someone who's a great passenger, who's never been on a small plane, who's not getting sick or anything, is probably going to be quite inquisitive, and they're going to distract you. It's almost like on your check ride or, with your instructor, where they try to kind of trick you by saying like, oh, what's that over there? And they're distracting you during a crucial time. And the test of that is for you to say, hey, sorry, can't talk right now because I'm doing something. That becomes really difficult when it's a friend sitting next to you and you feel like a jerk for shutting them down. But you have to, my advice is when you get in the plane with people, I always say, hey, we're friends, or maybe we're family, or we are whatever. But on this flight, I'm not your friend anymore. I'm your pilot. And people kind of love when I say that, because they're like, oh, you're going to take care of me and that you're going to be safe. But it's hard for new pilots to set these boundaries. And it's really hard to navigate being a new pilot, going into weather systems and airspaces that you've never flown in before. And oh, by the way, you have passengers on board that you have to keep calm, that you have to provide an air sick bag for. Please don't throw up on my feet or on the panel. And oh my gosh, I need to get on the ground because you're sick, but there's nowhere to land. It's all these new decisions that you were never introduced to in flight school.
It's a crazy thing that the biggest lesson of you getting your private pilot lesson really doesn't happen until you have it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, because you have spent so much time with somebody sitting next to you that you lean on. And now you're by yourself, which is perfectly fine. But when you introduce non-flying people into the equation, how are you going to handle that? And you won't know until you do it. So I think what Mindy's saying is we're not discouraging you for doing it, but having a little bit of experience under your belt goes a long, long ways, because if things start happening, you will immediately react in a hopefully a good way.
Right. And I know this story wasn't about flying with kids, but since I brought it up, just something that I do personally, and I know that not everyone is as strict and careful as I am, but just my 2 cents, whenever anyone has came to me and said, hey, I'd love to go on a flight with you and bring my child, I always say yes. Obviously, I would love to bring more people in the community, but I do a couple of things leading up to it. And I know not everyone has this time or capability, but I always say yes. But if the parent has never flown with me before, I require them to fly with me first without their kid. That way they can assess the situation and be able to prep their own child appropriately before coming to fly. So when I was living in Orlando, a girlfriend of mine who's never flown with me was like, hey, I'd love to bring my kid. And her kid was about 6 and a great, great kid too. Like the most well-mannered, perfect child ever. And I was like, that's wonderful. But first, you come fly with me. That way you can talk to your daughter and say, hey, we're going to go on a flight and here's what you can expect. Because how can a parent prep their child if they've never done it themselves? And likely they're going to be nervous too. And the kids feed off the energy of their parent. So if they see mom stressing out, white knuckling, getting scared, they're going to freak out. And then how do you console your friend and their child at the same time while flying a plane? It becomes complicated. That's my 2 cents.
I think what you just said there can be wrapped into this story and maybe some advice for anyone going forward. Like if you have friends that you know you're going to take, don't take them on a 500 nautical mile first. Take them up in the pattern real quick or something local.
Smart.
Just to give them that understanding of, okay, this is what I can expect. You know, I don't know if your partner has flown with you before or not. You didn't really make that clear, but I assume so, but maybe not. You're so new. That might be a good idea for anyone going forward. And I firmly agree with that. I mean, flying in small airplanes is an experience for the pilot and the passengers every single time. Every flight has its own exciting moments of it. And for someone to go on a long cross country for the first time, yeah, they might be a little
And you know,
weird.
This is really tough for a big pill for all of us pilots to swallow. But not everyone loves flying in small aircraft as much as we do. Like, I have so many customers that I always ask, does your spouse love to fly with you? Are they a pilot? Or do they aspire to be a pilot? And most of them say, yeah, like my wife or my partner or my kids love to fly, but not to go burn circles in the sky. They love when we have a destination and we're going to the beach or we're using it as transportation because what a lovely way to get around. But if I'm just going to go, you know, get $100 hamburger at a crappy airport cafe, that's my perfect Sunday. But my wife, nah, she's going to stay home. But if I tell her we're going to the beach, she's in. Beach bag, sunglasses on, right? So it's tough to understand.
You know, I didn't know at the time that I was dating someone who wanted to go get $100 hamburger, but I'm really, really glad how that worked out.
Yeah. Well, and that's okay. You know, we all have certain friends and certain people in our lives for certain things. And if it's not your partner, that's okay. But hopefully they at least want to go fly with you to go explore some new adventures every now and then.
Well, thanks to our new Kiwi friends down there. We will definitely be back. So look out for some stuff on social down the road. And whoever you are, please reach out because we'd love to meet you.
Oh, and little flex to our Kiwi listeners. We flew into Milford Sound.
Ooh, and a Kodiak.
In a Kodiak. And it was the most majestic, beautiful airport.
And it wasn't raining at all. It was clear skies.
We got so lucky. That's very specific to our Kiwi friends. They'll know what's up.
All right, man. What you got?
All right, my story. Since you guys love a lavatory story, here's one of my favorites. Great. In a previous job, I flew a PC-12 for a family of competitive water skiers.
Ooh.
That's cool. On one trip from the Midwest to a tournament down in Florida, they brought along another couple. The guy was like 6'6" and ripped. He looked like a stunt double for The Rock. Okay, what's
Another
with all
big guy?
Yeah, what's with all these big dudes?
At least this isn't a Pilatus.
Yeah, there's a lot more room in a PC-12 than a 172. He was also carrying a 6-pack of Corona.
He was.
I said to the owner, he knows there's no bathroom, right? And they all reassured me, he'll be fine. No sooner than crossing the Ohio River, I get a tap on the shoulder. It was The Rock. He already downed 3 beers and was asking how much longer. It's like a kid. I told him it would be another 2 hours. I turned around a little later to see 5 empty bottles and this big dude starting to do the little kid pee-pee dance. I chuckled to myself and kept flying. Not long after, I hear some commotion in the back, so I turn again to see everyone else looking forward at me laughing hysterically while this guy is on his knees in the back with his pants off, trying to pee into an empty beer bottle.
Oh.
One hand braced against the ceiling and the other trying his best to not spill on the carpet. Unfortunately, he had a bit of stage fright and couldn't perform under pressure. Maybe that's fortunately, not unfortunately. Needless to say, I kept the speed up till the final approach fix, and he was out the door peeing straight into the grass before the prop stopped spitting. The FBO ground crew that marshaled us in just looked at me, still in the cockpit laughing, with a questioning look, and all I could do was shrug my shoulders. On the way back, I asked him how he was doing, and he says, haven't had a sip of water in 24 hours.
Such a relatable story, minus the 6 beers downed.
Again, non-flying friends.
Again, awesome opportunity for the Porta-Johns to sponsor this podcast.
Dude.
Who is out there?
Who knows someone at Porta-John?
We love them. This is an opportunity for us to just say it all the time.
I reached out to them. And they did not respond to me. So if anyone has a contact at Porta-John, we would love to sling some product here.
Sling it. Well, I love that The Rock downed 6 Coronas on this 2.5 hour flight.
Yeah, me too.
What do you do as a single pilot on a Pilatus? I mean,
not my problem.
Not your problem, right?
No. Hey, big guy, you got to hold it like an adult.
Or figure out a way. There's zero way, by the way, he would have made it into that beer can. Zero.
Well,
zero.
But they said beer bottles. I feel like that's even worse.
I don't know what's worse, but it doesn't matter. It would have been all over the carpet. So his little stage fright action there probably saved
very
buddies
fortunate.
A little bit of a cleaning fee there.
Very fortunate. And it sounds like the owners were the other couple on board, the skiers. So, I mean, if they were the ones that authorized their friends to pee in the bottle, go for it. But if I was the pilot, I'd be like, that is not for me.
You're never going to catch me unprepared. That's all I'm saying.
You got your Porta-Johns ready?
Now. They're right here. I actually have to pee.
Well, you're going to have to hold it like an adult.
I'm not an adult.
Yeah, no, that's really funny. I feel like a lot of people have a similar passenger story to this. And
of course, we get lab stories every week, it seems like.
Yeah, it's like you can tell people till you're blue in the face there is no toilet on board, and yet they will abuse the power.
I mean, to be fair, from the Midwest to Florida and a Pilatus, I'd probably have to go as well.
Yeah, well, you got to come prepared. and to your point, you do. That's really funny. I don't know what I would do if I looked back to see The Rock with his pants down trying to pee into a bottle.
It'd be hard to turn away.
Would it?
Like, what is going on? There is a behemoth of a man back there trying to piss into a beer bottle. Hilarious.
It's like a train wreck. You just can't look away.
Look away. All right. Well, we got some advice this week. I think we already shared some on our New Zealand story. But anyways, the question is to fly or not to fly?
Oh, that's $1 million question.
Impossible to answer. In the military, we've got a pretty robust risk matrix prior to flying. But in general aviation, I've noticed it's mixed. How do you actually make your go, no-go decisions before a flight? Curious what the aviation community actually does. Do you follow a prescribed checklist or just check the weather and go?
It's a freaking great question.
Mm-hmm.
It is very mixed. That's a great point. And a lot of Part 91, and this flows over to professional flying, but we're talking more about general aviation, which is called Part 91 for the most part. If you're flying for any sort of company, they're usually going to have you do a FRAT, which is a flight assessment risk tool. Each company has their own parameters that they want their pilots to fill out. Like when I worked at Textron, we had a FRAT tool that we would fill out before flights.
By the way, the military has this as well.
Yeah, so
this is stemming from it.
That's the matrix that they're talking about. So people still use that in general aviation. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically a questionnaire of different parameters. Each company or department can have different ones that they want their pilots to answer. And then there's even ones that you can just download an app on your phone. So if you are a strict envelope type of person, you might want to download a FRAT tool. There's ones you can download on your iPhone. So it might say what's your time and type of this model aircraft? Did you sleep 8 hours last night? When's the last time you had alcohol? When's the last time you did an IPC? Are you current and are you proficient? And it might have some follow-up questions to each of those. And then it'll chunk out a number usually. So then that'll tell you if it's a go or no go. So let's say anything above 10 is a go, or anything above 10 is a no go, and anything below 10 is low risk and it's a go. So they still use that in general aviation. However, let's talk about the average Joe, the average Captain John Doe.
Do you want me to talk about what I did the other day?
No.
Okay.
Just kidding. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is literally the question, right? So I was asked last minute to go pick up a customer, let's say 400 miles away, right?
And you got a text at, what was it, 10 o'clock at night?
It was like 8 p.m.
Okay.
And I had
we were up till 10 debating it.
Yeah, the text was, it was the owner's plane and they were stuck. And the text was, you need to be wheels up by 6 a.m. tomorrow and it was Santa Fe. So it was pretty far. I was like, okay, before you even tell this customer anything, I was telling dispatch, give me at least a second to look at this, because right now the once in a 6-month thing happens where there's weather in the valley, and anytime there's weather here, it's bad. It's really bad.
Usually icing, even this time of year.
It's really bad icing, really bad weather. It literally snowed on the mountain yesterday, which is incredible. So I went through it. I got my flight plan, and I did my initial weather briefing on Garmin Pilot. Garmin Pilot showed me what I needed to know. That usually what I use Garmin Pilot for is to tell me if I need to go more in depth. And when I mean that, I go to aviationweather.gov to get way more in depth. What does that mean?
That's for me later.
Okay. So I went to the flight. There was an AirMet Tango, AirMet Zulu, and there was a AirMet. Those are the two. I was like, where's my thought going?
I don't know, but you're boring.
Anyways, long story short, there was moderate icing from...
Here we go. Let's get to the meat and potatoes,
Moderate icing from 8,000 to 20,000 feet. And the plane I was flying was a SR-22, normally aspirated. So it did have Fiki on board, but it did not have oxygen, and it wasn't a turbo. So I couldn't get above it. So the immediate thing in my head is the limitation of the airplane. How long is that Fiki going to last? This flight was going to take about 3 hours. And the weather brief said I was going to be in moderate icing for certain for at least an hour and a half of that.
And, you always have to add more to that. If the weather brief says an hour and a half, you got to plan on 2.5 hours, right? You got to be conservative. You can't just go to the fence on that.
Right. So like generally speaking, best case scenario, if you leave the anti-ice equipment on its lowest mode, you may get 2 hours. But the fact that it's saying moderate super cooled droplets tells me you'd have to have it on its high mode, which now you're not getting more than 45 minutes of that.
So then you said the icing would be better for the flight later in the day. And dispatch was like, that's fine. You can land later. Like, we'd like you to be wheels up at 6 a.m. That way you can make this certain commercial flight home. However, then that led you to another finding.
Right. So later in the day, the winds at Santa Fe were over 40 knots, and there was low-level wind shear and moderate severe turbulence reports. So
then it was beyond the limitations of the aircraft for landing in winds. So you had to land prior to noon, maybe even 11 a.m. Again, you have to be a bit conservative. So you had to land in the morning, but if you left in the morning, you were in moderate icing the whole way.
Right. So I think to answer this question, because I get paid to fly, so I don't just say no.
Well, tell them what your decision was.
So my decision was to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and review the weather again to make sure that this forecast was accurate, which I ended up doing. And I woke up and it was 100% accurate. And as I'm starting my truck to drive to the airport to just like make the effort,
yeah.
The customer made the decision, because what was going to happen is I was going to leave the plane in Santa Fe. He was going to fly it himself back, and then I was going to commercial home. He made the decision that the weather was not compatible for his limitations, which was, I was hoping was going to be the thing the whole time, because the long story short, what makes a no-go or go? If I'm being tasked with a paid flight, the limitations are the no-go or go, no-go.
Yes.
Simple as that. Other than that, I'm probably making the flight.
Right. And when it's a paid flight, you are doing everything you can to make that flight happen. However, in our personal life, I would have sniffed that weather and been like, not even going to like look further into this.
Right.
But on a paid flight, of course, you do everything you can to see if you can get the pieces together. But in our personal life, I'd say we choose to not fly more than we do when it's on the fence.
The other
because
thing,
why?
Yeah, the other thing is like that Swiss cheese model people always talk about. The dominoes started stacking up, and then it was becoming abundantly clear that this flight was not safe. It was not a flight that should be going on because there was 0 outs. I'm perfectly fine flying and icing in these airplanes. Cirrus makes a fantastic airplane. The Fiki works phenomenally when there's outs. It's not made to stay in it for 3 hours.
Yeah. So, okay, back to this. Do you follow a prescribed checklist or just check the weather and go? I do not follow a strict matrix, but I've been flying now for 14 years. And I don't know. I think as you get more experienced, you can see your envelope so easily to yourself, and you've been in situations that you maybe shouldn't have been. Actually, you will be in situations that you shouldn't have been in, and you'll say to yourself, I'll never do that again, just like our first story today. And it changes your own internal thinking on go, no go. So it's tough. It's really tough because it changes as you get experience. And then, you buy a new plane or you get checked out on a new plane, all of a sudden your go, no-go changes drastically. You don't know that plane very well. So it ebbs and flows throughout your piloting career so much that it's hard to nail down a matrix.
And it matters on like what type of flight it is, because if it's like me and you and Mojo, it's always a no-go, right? It's almost, I don't think we've ever been in a situation where
basically if we're questioning it, we say no.
Right. And there's a total different brain when we're in work mode. And we're talking about GA, not Jet World. Strictly GA.
Piston, like small plane.
When I'm in work mode and piston small airplane, if there's a plan B option, it's almost a go.
Yeah, or work
there's
mode.
There's an ability to have a plan.
Another conversation we had about you taking this flight was to fly much further south, take over an hour longer to get there, to get around the most severe icing, just to see if it would work. But then that puts you into the high wind part where you were past the limitations for landing. But it's things like that in our airplane, we're like, we're not going to fly our plane another hour and a half and pay for the fuel and the expense and go out of our way unless we really needed to be somewhere. We talk about it. But generally, we're not going to make those accommodations in our personal life. We're going to say, let's just wait a day.
Especially when it's forecasted too. Like when I am aware that the winds far exceed the limitations, that's totally different than hearing it on the ATIS, because there's been 1,000 times over the past year when I've been in winds that are not amazing, but it wasn't forecasted.
Yeah.
That's another thing that happens in general aviation, I think, is that unforecasted weather happens every single day.
All the time.
So that even... what are you going to do at that point? So like the no-go to
fly the damn plane.
No-go decision is almost always a no-go because of stuff like that in a leisure flight.
Yeah, if you have the choice to do it, why press it? I don't know. It's so hard to answer this question. I think you could ask 1,000 pilots in GA and get 1,000 different answers on how people decide to go or no go. But it just comes down to your pilot journey experience and experience in that aircraft, experience in that airspace, experience in that weather. It's all these things that come together. And as you become a more experienced pilot, this becomes way less complicated. It sounds complicated to a brand new, fresh private pilot, especially sounds complicated to a fresh instrument rated pilot, because now you're capable of doing flights that you always said no to. And now you're like, how far can I really press it with this new instrument rating? Then I think a brand new instrument rated pilot is in the most difficult decision-making stage of their pilot career on no-go flights, right?
100%.
Because you have the rating, but you don't have the experience. But how do you get the experience unless you go freaking try it?
Yeah. You have outs. That's how.
You have outs.
I could tell you how.
And you take instructors or experienced pilots with you on these flights that are new to you, that you think that are capable of the aircraft and of a pilot with experience, but you don't have it yet. Take a friend who has more experience than you. Take an instructor. You know,
I don't want to get long-winded, but like we're from Florida. There's no icing really in Florida. So I'm a CFI out in the West Coast, and these people are coming here to learn from me. So I learned through instructing how to deal with icing. I would seek it out every chance I could when there was outs, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, great question, impossible to answer.
Yeah, I don't know if we did that justice, but at least you guys know some of our thought processes. Anywho, we're going to wrap this up, but one more big thank you to Cirrus Aircraft for putting me on that Vision Jet flight. And I hope you guys watch the YouTube video and give it some love.
Dope.
Yeah, because I love the Vision Jet. I love selling the Vision Jet. I just closed on one a few weeks ago, and I want to do
a clap thing right now. I would play it.
Yay. I love selling the Vision Jet because they're such fun aircraft. And the coolest thing about selling the Vision Jet that I've found, and I've only done a couple of them so far, but I want to do them more because it's usually someone's first jet. And the reward of helping someone from their journey from piston to jet, and this client I just sold for, I sold him a brand new 206 back when I worked at Textron. I just sold his 206 on the used market and then helped him into the Vision Jet. So his entire ownership career from piston to jet has been through me. And it's so rewarding in a way that I can be proud of myself for having an impact on someone and getting them into their first jet. It's just so freaking cool. And the Vision Jet is full of that type of clientele. And that gets me so jazzed up because I love sharing aviation with people.
Thanks, Doughheads.
Thank you, Doughheads, and we will catch you guys next week.
See you.
Thanks for flying with Captain John Doe. If you have a story to share, visit CaptainJohnDoe.com and stay anonymous. New episodes every Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tell your favorite crew members.